Rett syndrome is an intellectual disability syndrome. It is due to a change in a gene. The name of the gene is called MECP2. When that gene is changed, then that causes people to have difficulty in learning. It may also cause them to have seizures and some movement disorders. Many people with this condition also will have difficulty gaining weight.
So when I first heard that, when I first got the diagnosis that she had Rett syndrome, it was over the phone. They called me and said that she had tested positive for Rett syndrome. And I was like, what are you talking about? I go, how can that be? How could she not have been diagnosed all these years? And I was just like devastated. I mean, because when you, of course, the first thing I did was Google it, and I'm like, well, there's no cure. There's 4 stages to Rett syndrome, and she didn't really fit into any of the stages. And that's, also what I learned is that Simone is atypical.
So Rett syndrome is usually recognized anywhere from about 6 months to 2 to 3 years of age. Most people who are born with Rett syndrome look like happy, healthy little baby girls. Then by 6 to 12 months of age, their development begins to slow down. In between 1 and 2 years of age, not only has it slowed down, but they may stop making developmental progress to the point of then losing skills. For atypical Rett syndrome, it may be that you've had developmental regression at 4 or 5 years of age, or even older, and may have more mild loss of skills and gain more of them back.
Now Simone's regression was at like 11, 12.
Then it makes it much more difficult then as a physician taking care of someone to be predictive of what the rest of somebody's life is going to look like, because already you didn't look like the classic form.
She's just awesome. I mean, I don't know what other to say. All the kids in here are just wonderful, and she always comes in every morning with a smile on her face. She comes back to my desk and hands me her backpack, and then we get out her communication notebook and her Nova chat, and she sits down, and it's just it's so neat to see. She's so happy.
Aww. This is so cute. So prior to her regression, Simone talked a lot, full sentences. She was more engaged in like the toys that she has. She more engaged in life. She seems more withdrawn now. And more anxiety and more dependent. But prior, she used to talk about having boyfriends. She used to talk about going to the prom. She used to play with her toys. She used to smile a lot. She used to want to play with other kids. And then the regression just took that all away. She stopped being able to ride her bike. She's just stopped basically everything. For about like 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years, she just would stare at the wall. She wouldn't watch TV, nothing. So now, after this regression, she actually watches TV, she laughs at things, she's more engaged in life again.
What's neat with Simone is she will say words. When we're presenting information to her, sometimes her words will come back, and she'll say something, and that's, we support it, but she used to speak. And so she doesn't speak anymore. So when she does say something, it's really neat.
Her input is, she understands everything. It's her output. So just imagine just being like prisoner in your own body because you can't get out what you want to say.
When they regain skills, they were regaining their skills at a much slower rate than the average child does. Most people with Rett syndrome have difficulty with walking and talking. So they may not ever come back, and usually do not come back to what we consider a typical child's development.
We look at her needs and what the kids need to become as independent as they possibly can, and base their goals around those things.
You never think that, you know, your child is going to be dependent on you for the rest of your life and her life. So it's affected me. It's made me, you know, sad, depressed, and stuff like that. But it's also made me an advocate for finding a cure for Rett syndrome, and an advocate for educating people about Rett syndrome. I'm her voice now, since she has none. So I feel like it's thrown me into a world that I didn't know I was going to be a part of, the special needs world, but now I am a part of it, and so it's affected me in that way. And you know, I feel sad that was given this dreadful syndrome. I feel bad for her and sad for her, but I'm not going to let that, you know, I want her to still have a good quality of life. So I'll do whatever it takes to, you know, at least make her happy every day. So.
From my experience doing genetics, the background about what a genetic condition is interesting to me, but it's far more interesting the people and how they cope with the diagnosis.
Her way of getting someone's attention is to go up to them and like maybe stare at them, but that's all that she would really do. So it would be up to the kids to like initiate introducing themselves, initiate including her in like activities. And then also, you know, it's good for them too, because it makes them better people if they, you know, are more accepting and include children with special needs.
So ways that students can help people with Rett syndrome or any kind of syndrome, whether or not it is particularly noticeable or not. First, be kind. Try to understand what is going on with that person. Why are they having the medical issues or intellectual problems that they have? If you take the time to understand someone, it's not as frightening or scary. Figure out why the person needs help and help. Be a kind and helpful person.
Simone is pretty easygoing and just loves stuff like this. She loves being the center of attention. And she loves smiling, and you love looking at the camera too, right? You want to smile for the camera? I think she would really like that people can get to know about her and know what Rett syndrome is.